Vaishnavi also who's joined in. Welcome, Vaishnavi.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So
Happy to be here.
yeah. See, I was explaining. We've already seen so many videos. You and I, we've done so much of interaction that I think all of us understand that you have these apps, etc., which are making a lot of data, right, all the time. And this universe of data is just expanding. It's like the solar system is just expanding and becoming bigger and bigger, and we are all trying to figure out ways to manage this data so that we get some input, some you know outcomes which we can use to make our world better. Okay. Now, with this thought in mind, over the last 20-25 years has started a discipline which is called data science. Okay. So you have physics, chemistry, biology, which is the pure sciences, right? You have these people become doctors, scientists, etc., using these disciplines. And now you have this new area of work called data science. And in data science, what we look at is that you've got this universe of data. You can use maths and programming to be able to make sense of it. So basically, programming is done with the thought that you are going to do the maths on this big set of data. See, when you have to add 1, 2, 3 numbers, it's easy. 2 plus 2, 4, 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6. But then when it becomes 2 plus 2 plus 2, 2 plus, then it becomes difficult, and that's where programming or computers come into play. Now, this is the context, and the instructor for your course is Ruben. A lot of you do know Ruben personally. Ida is his daughter, and Sharanya and Veera and Megha and Khushi have met him. Vaishnavi, you will meet him now. He is going to be an instructor, and he is going to take you through the journey in the context of the maths concepts, and then in context to the Excel concepts. Okay. And then when we will do this same journey in context to Python programming, that time I will take over the learning. So how we are expecting ourselves to move is like this. We do 2 hours on Saturday. Then, during the week, you all should work on the workbooks that have been given to you. The Google Classroom gives you access to a Google Drive folder. So each one of you will put your workbook into the Google Drive folder so that me and Ruben can check it. And when we meet next class, we will be ready to take on to the next level. Is that clear? Any doubts, children? No?
No, no
Okay.
doubt.
So with this, I will hand it over to Ruben to take you through the first, session today, and best of luck.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay. So now I'm going to just take you very, very quickly through the slides and maybe just put it together in a slightly Subhashini-ish way, if I can so say. Ruben has explained it in total, but just to summarize what we have done in this first session of data science for juniors. What we have done is look at some of the old concepts that you already know. You already know the number line. However, I think the thing to understand is the fact that the zero is the middle of the number line. Generally in our mind, 0 is the starting point, and then you have all the positive numbers, but that's not the way it is. You have 0, and then you have the whole number line around you. One stretching in the side of the minus, one stretching in the side of the plus. Then, of course, you all know the place values. There's hundreds, tens, and ones, which is a great system to understand and simplify our numbers, right? So it allows us to, if we had to just keep counting in ones, it would become so many numbers, right? But 100 automatically clumps together 101 units into one bit. So this whole system of doing ones, tens, and hundreds is a great way to talk about very large numbers in a very small manner. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division form the basis of everything we do in maths. And it would not be wrong to say is adding is all we do, because even a minus is nothing but movement on the left side of the number line. So if we start looking at 0 as the middle, then we know that we can move on the right as well as the left. And a minus is just a movement on the left side of a number line, right? Yeah. So there is a workbook which is provided to you, and the request is do go through it. This time when you're going through the same concepts, it'll be great to look at these concepts in context to the number line. Okay. Now, when you can just send me a photo of your files later. So when we are looking at the multiplication, again, I think the main reason why we're doing this particular session is to tell you that there are many ways to look at any one thing. You can hold the nose from here also, you can hold the nose from here also, and it will always be right. There's no absolute, oh, this is not possible. If it's logically possible, you can do it in maths. Okay. I know it's not what school teachers say, but please understand that practically you can do it. So addition is, if you look at it, multiplication is nothing but addition of similar groups or arrays of numbers. So when you start looking at addition like multiplication like that, suddenly what happens is, even multiplication is nothing but a movement, a skip counting, right, on the number line. So the way you do, right, 5 twos are 10, 5 threes are 15. So what are you doing? You skip counting on the number line. Interesting, isn't it? Then we come to multiplication representations, which, as I mentioned to you, one of the things to think of it is either you are repeatedly adding into the number, or you are creating equal groups and skip counting on the number line. Okay. So do the multiplication sums. Division, on the other hand, is breaking things into equal parts. Okay. So division answers the question, how much should I skip count? Right. So if I'm dividing into 3 parts, 12, then I have to skip count at units of 4, 4 each. Then I get 3 skips. Okay. Similarly, if I want to have 4 skips and the total number is 12, then I have to skip at 3, 3 each. Then I get 4 skips. So it's really interesting to see that the number line is the basis of all of these, your addition, multiplication, division, and subtraction. Okay. And I do hope when you are going to do your workbook, you are going to look at that in context to the number line. The very big thing, and I think one of Ruben's pet words, is deconstruction. See, you play with Lego blocks, right? You can make something big and then you deconstruct it, and then from the same thing you can make one more object. The same thing works in maths. You can use multiple things to come up with an understanding of what it is in reality. So fractions is a great way to look at a ratio of a few parts versus the whole. Okay. And there are the proper fractions, mixed fractions, and improper fractions. Equivalent fractions are nothing but being able to take one fraction and multiplying the numerator and the denominator with the same number to get a much larger fraction. So I can say 1 by 10, or I can say 10 by 100. Okay. So again, do remember that it's always whatever you do on the top, the same thing you do at the bottom. Okay. Now, when you look at fractions, one very great way to tell about these fractions is by using decimals. Once you start using decimals, it's so easy, right? All you need to do is to move the dots. It makes life much easier, and it has been taken because of its ease. It's become a universal measure. So all the shops, if you see any accounting system, everyone is using the decimal system to understand how much money, what fraction of money should I return back. So when you go to a shop and you buy a chocolate of 10 rupees, but you gave the shopkeeper 50 rupees, he doesn't tell you I'm going to return 4/5 of the money, right? He is able to tell you I'm going to give you 40 rupees out of 50. Okay, so decimals and this whole this concept of tens and hundreds has made life much easier for us in all ways, and the same decimal system has been used to also create the metric system. Each one of you is solving those problems, right? If one doll needs 4 meters of cloth, if I have 10 dolls, how many meters of cloth do I need? Or how to convert meters into millimeters or centimeters. So you will notice that be it meters, grams, or liters, the decimal system, which is a 10-10 unit change, is what is followed also in the metric system. Hence, you find that metric system has also become universally used. Earlier, it was not like that. Earlier, UK used to have they used to have acres, and they used to have yards, miles. Nowadays, they don't. Everyone all over the world is moving to one system. Okay. So I think this brings us to a conclusion on what we have studied today, and I will look forward to seeing you all next class. Do go through the workbook. As I've mentioned to you in the Google classroom link also, beta. I will be available on call and on WhatsApp anytime of your choice, but preferably between 5 and 6 in the evening if you have any doubts during a weekday. Also, it is always good if a few of you get together and create study groups for yourself. Just now, today is a very easy topic, but from next class, it'll become a bit more interesting if a few of you are studying together. With this, I'll leave it open to you. Is there something that you want to ask me or Ruben just now?
No, Auntie.
No? Okay, children, it's
No,
been
I don't
really
have anything
nice.
to ask.
Okay, good, Vaishnavi. If you all do have, reach out to us, okay?
Okay.
Okay, beta, bye.